Hey everybody, I'm Vera Stewart and welcome to the VeryVera Show. You know, summer is the time to celebrate, and I've got something really special to celebrate this summer. The birth of my 8th grandchild, Frances, was the end of January, and this summer we're going to be celebrating her christening. So I thought, well, you know what, it's time to experiment with some recipes to make that a very special occasion after church that Sunday. So today I'm going to be starting with a chicken and asparagus salad that has a buttermilk herb dressing that's just fantastic. Great ingredients in there. And then secondly, I'm going to do a stuffed French toast. And I've got an adult filling and a children's filling. You can't wait to see that. And then finally, I'm going to end with shrimp tarts. The shell is grits. It has a cream and ham filling, and we're going to put a nice big shrimp on the top. So a lot of fun things. Hopefully they'll all work out, and I can serve these very shortly. So let's get started with the dressing for this salad. And this is where your food processor comes in really handy because I've got some really beautiful, great ingredients to go with this today. I'm going to start with some fresh parsley and tarragon, which is actually one of my real favorites with chicken. And then the juice of a lemon and 2 teaspoons of Dijon mustard. What we're going to do at this point is mix this up into a paste. All right, then the other ingredients are the buttermilk. Gosh, and those herbs, just the freshness of that is terrific. We've got some mayonnaise. And some olive oil. Now I'll add in some salt and pepper to taste. Fresh cracked tri-colored pepper. Love to use that. All right. Oh, that's just delicious. And this will actually work in the refrigerator, you know, for several weeks if you make it ahead. All right, for the salad itself, I toasted some almonds and got those nice and brown. And then I blanched my asparagus for about 6 minutes in some salted water and then immediately put it down into an ice bath. I've got Bibb lettuce. Into that, I'm going to add some watercress. And you could use arugula too if you would rather. And then the chicken, you can either smoke chicken on the grill, you can grill the chicken. This happens to be, for ease, the rotisserie chicken that I love to use from the fresh market. All right, I've got radishes, the toasted almonds, and more fresh parsley. All right, so I'm going to take the dressing and I'm going to put about half of it on and toss that up. Isn't that pretty? Really colorful. And then right before I serve it, I'm going to add the rest of the dressing and the feta cheese. So I'm going to keep working on this, and when we come back from the break, I'm going to get started on that delicious stuffed French toast. And you know, some of you adults might like the children's flavor the best. So come back with me in just a few minutes. Welcome back, and if you're just joining us, I'm in the middle of summer celebrations, getting ready for baby Frances's christening this summer. We finished the chicken and asparagus salad. I added the asparagus to it, and it is a beautiful salad. I only put half the dressing on, and then right before I get ready to serve it, I'll put in the rest of the dressing and add that feta cheese. It's just going to be delicious. So it's in the refrigerator. And now we're going to get started on this stuffed French toast. I'm so excited about this recipe. I've got two different kinds of fillings. So the adult filling is cream cheese, pistachios, and blackberries. And what I did with the blackberries was just I used two really sharp knives to get them good and ground up. And I've softened the cream cheese. So I'm going to add the pistachios and the blackberries to this mixture and just really just mix this together. But that combination is terrific. And you're thinking, now that's not enough sweetness for me, but you'll be surprised at the end when we dust it with powdered sugar and put some really good maple syrup on top. It's just going to be terrific. So that's ready to go. And ahead of the show, I went ahead and made a batch, and I've got it in my Ziploc bag because I'm going to use that as my piping instrument to stuff the toast. All right, the second one, and honestly, this one is my favorite. This is when the kid in me comes out because my favorite food is peanut butter. And a little bit of jelly with that and marshmallow fluff, oh my gosh. So I'm using the peanut butter chips instead of actual peanut butter, and then grape jelly. You know, my sons growing up, their favorite thing, they called it too toasted, which meant for their snack, they wanted me to toast the bread and put the peanut butter and jelly on it warm. So I guarantee you at this christening, Francis's dad, my son John, is going to go after this peanut butter and jelly stuffed French toast. All right, and just like the other one, I got some of this done in advance and in my Ziploc bag. All right, so the challah bread that you can pick up at the fresh market is a real eggy bread, and I mean, I just love the way it looks just on the counter. But we're going to use this because it's got some firmness to it. Like I said, it's an eggy bread. It's really soft and nice. I'm going to cut the end piece off, and then I want my slices to be about 1/2 to 3/4 inch thick. And I'll get two done. And then you want to use a small serrated knife to do about a 3-inch slit on the top of the bread. And this is where you're making the pocket for your filling. So go down about as close to the bottom as you can get with your slice. I'll go ahead and do the other one. This is what's going to make this so delicious. Now, I've done stuffed French toast before, but never quite like this. And this is actually a new bread for me on that treatment. All right, so I've got my scissors. I'm just going to cut just a little corner of my Ziploc bag. And this is the grown-up one, the pistachio. And you're just going to fill it full. Just take that knife and maybe push it down in there just a little bit. Close that one up. Now I've done a custard, and this is 1/2 and 1/2, 2 beaten eggs, sugar, cinnamon, vanilla, and nutmeg. I'm going to dip this in, and I've got my griddle already going on 350. So you're going to put that in just long enough to get it good and soaked up. And because that filling is in between that bread like that, it's much less likely to squirt out. All right, so the griddle's nice and hot. So let's do the peanut butter and jelly. And like I said, this made ahead of time and put in a warming drawer will have you completely finished with this meal before you even go to church. And the nice thing about these peanut butter chips is that they melt. Oh my gosh, when I was practicing this, I was having a fit. Right? We're going to get that good and going. When we come back from the break, I'm going to be finishing up this French toast, and then I'm going to get started on the shrimp and creamed ham tarts. The shell is made out of grits. You absolutely have to come back. So I will see you back in just a few minutes.
Ask Vera is brought to you by Georgia Bank and Trust and Southern Bank and Trust.
All right, since I'm letting you in on the process involved with the special occasion in my life, I thought I'd share with you some of my checklists for planning a special event or party. First of all, if there's a guest of honor involved, you want to give that consideration into the theme, how you plan to present it, all of those things involved in whether it's a birthday party, in my case it's a christening. Decide on the date, and of course the date has to be approved by all the folks that absolutely have to be there. So making sure that you put the date out there for everyone's approval. Decide on the time of day, of course if there's small children, naps, and whether they're older adults, whether you want the party to be over at a certain time. The number of people that you're going to have is depending on where you're going to have the party, and if you've got enough room for that number to be there, because they'll want to know that to plan their guest list. Whether it's seated or a buffet makes a difference on whether or not you've got enough tables and chairs for everyone to sit down. Determining the menu also plays into that same idea, if they can eat in their lap or if they have to be at a table. Party favors, a place for gifts, all of these things are perfect to think about in planning this special event. Just want to remind everybody that Fireside Outdoor Kitchens and Grills has a free cooking class every Tuesday night. For more information, go to firesideoutdoorkitchens.com. Welcome back, everybody, and if you're just joining us, we're doing summer celebrations, and I'm getting ready for quite a celebration this summer when we christen Frances, my number 8 grandchild, so I'm really looking forward to that, and planning a menu around things that we can do after church for her christening. So we started with a chicken and asparagus salad that has a buttermilk herb dressing that is fantastic, and you make it ahead and put half of the dressing on and let it rest. And then right before we get ready to serve it, we'll add the rest of the dressing and the feta cheese. Next, I went to my stuffed French toast, and I've got 2 different varieties. The adult version had blackberries, pistachios, and cream cheese. And then the child's version, which is actually my favorite, is peanut butter and jelly with marshmallow fluff. Oh my gosh, I cannot wait to fix this. But I've gone ahead and put it in my Electrolux warming drawer. This way, it can be done ahead. I can do it early that morning and just put it down on a low temperature. So for me, this drawer comes in really handy because I don't have 2 ovens. And many times I will actually use it as my second oven. So it's just a great thing if you're planning to do a redo in your kitchen. All right, so now the final touch to this brunch, which is going to be so great, are these shrimp grit tarts. So I've got lots of things going on top of the stove here, but what I want to start with is the shrimp garnish that is going to go on these when they're finished. So I've got about a tablespoon of butter in my pan, and I'm going to add in some medium shrimp. And you know, Fresh Market has these on sale lots of Saturdays for $5 off per pound, and they freeze so well that a lot of times I'll just go pick up several pounds just to have them. I'm going to let those saute, and then to this, I want to garnish it with our friends at the Salt Table in Savannah sent over a roasted garlic salt. And what a perfect accompaniment to this shrimp. So I'm going to season with just a little bit of that. And then we'll just let those cook down. I'm going to turn this temperature down just a little bit and keep a watch on those. Now, the grits part of this, I went ahead and got started. I did chicken broth, milk, a little bit of butter. I added in, once it was boiling, my stone milled yellow grits. And now I've got that all ready. I'm going to add to that some Parmesan cheese. And then I'm using mini muffin pans for this today because I want this dish to be bite-sized. And it's going to be really thick, a lot thicker than you would have it if you were just eating grits. All right, so while I'm letting that rest a minute, I'm going to flip these shrimp over real quick. And you know, these shrimp really don't take but just a second to cook. And having them really nice and pink is what I'm looking for. All right. The other dish that is going with this particular dish is a creamed ham. And I also made that ahead of time. And it is a combination of butter and smoked ham that you just want to heat up really well together. And then add to that about a tablespoon and a half of flour and get that nice and mixed together just so the flour is nice and toasted. And then finally, you're going to add to that some chicken broth, and it makes a really nice creamy mixture. All right, so I'm going to use about a teaspoon of the grits mixture into my muffin pan, and all you're doing here is just filling it. So I can get about 18 of these from the recipe, and as always, our recipes are available on our website at VeryVera.com. So I'll finish those in a few minutes, but I went ahead and got some done, and right as soon as this pan comes out of the oven, you want to take that same spoon and make an indentation in the middle of that, and that's what makes the little tart shell. So now let's bring over our ham mixture. I'm going to add to that the white wine Worcestershire sauce and some fresh parsley. This is the filling, and it's completely cooked. I'm get that spoon back, and I'm just going to put just a spoonful in the center of each of these. And then these are going to go back in the oven right before time to serve, just long enough to get it good and hot, and then we'll top it with one of those beautiful shrimp. So, quite a little bit more to do here, but when we come back from the break, I'm going to be putting everything together, show you how to display it, and how to do a place setting on your table. So come back with me in just a few minutes. Welcome back, everybody, and we are putting the final touches on this summer celebration, getting ready for Francis's christening this summer, and I'm so excited about the way that everything turned out, the way the dishes look, and even better, how they taste. So let's get started with the asparagus and chicken salad that we made first, and just look how beautiful it is. You know, this time of year, fresh vegetables can become the centerpiece to whatever you're doing. Don't worry about any other garnish, because obviously the asparagus and radishes that are part of the salad make a beautiful centerpiece to this. The cottage shop in Savannah that helps us with our presentation and table pieces, this container is actually a chip and dip container. And you know, when you invest in a piece like this, think of other ways to use it. And certainly for this salad, it could not be more perfect. So just because it has separated segments doesn't mean that you can't use it for one particular dish. So here, I just love the way that this looks. And remember that adding that dressing halfway through gives us kind of a wilted quality to this salad, but that last minute dash on that dressing really brings that buttermilk herb just all the way to the top. Just great. All right, then the stuffed French toast, I separated it by the type. We've got the peanut butter and jelly on one side and the pistachio blackberry on another. And I'm just going to take some powdered sugar and go over the top of that. And I'm telling you, the aroma on this is fantastic, but it is going to be the hit of the party. Got a little Fresh Market maple syrup to go with that. Just love the way that looks. And then over here to the shrimp and tarts that we did with the grit tart. These are just gorgeous, and they could actually be used as an appetizer when everybody first arrives with either a mimosa or a Bloody Mary. These would be great, but I really love them on the buffet. And again, this is a cake stand that I'm using as a tart stand for this particular dish. I put the shrimp on at the very last minute. And, you know, when I made them ahead the other day, I had them laying on their side. And today I said, gosh, they stand up perfectly in this dish. Another idea here would be, if you're having a plated brunch, would be to make this the center of attraction and use a regular size muffin pan. So you've got a larger tart, and you could fill it with actually put the shrimp in the mixture in the center. So I just love that. In terms of how it's plated, if you were going to do this as a plated meal, just look at the components there. You've got 2 different types of French toast, and if you separate it that way, you can see the filling on the center. I've used some of the blackberries as an overall garnish with the one that had the blackberry in it. The shrimp tart just gives a little bit of height there. And then, just like I suggested in the overall presentation of the salad, you know, be a little picky about making sure that things like the tip of the asparagus and a big hunk of that goat cheese or feta cheese is showing through. And then, of course, the radish brings a lot of color to that plate. One of the little shrimp tarts, even if you're going to use that for passing, save one to have a little height on the table. All right, our star person today is Frances Eagle Stewart, and Frances is my middle name, so I'm just thrilled to have a namesake. And then Eagle is her paternal grandfather's mother's maiden name, so I love the two together. And as you think about your celebrating this summer, I hope you'll want to try some of these recipes. They're always on our website at VeryVera.com. Want to welcome all of our viewers out in Macon, Georgia at WMAZ. And as I always say on the Very Vera Show, no matter what you do, do it in good taste. And I hope you'll come back and join me again next week for another episode of the Very Vera Show.